Welcome to Lazy Conversations, your weekly dose of business insight where we dive into the real world challenges and triumphs of business executives. Join us as we chat with industry leaders, share our own experiences, and offer some unconventional advice. Today's guest, we have Mr. Maen Razouqi.
No, thank you very much for having me. It's always nice to have conversation. This is the first time I have a lazy conversation, so hopefully I'm not too lazy to sleep.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us. How was your day so far?
Oh, excellent. Today was actually fun. It started with some bad news, but it's ending with some good conversations, I hope.
Okay.
So sometimes if you want to overcome some of these unfortunate, unexpected news, especially business news, you might as well just go to the gym.
Yeah. Oh, you go to the gym?
I go to the gym.
That's awesome.
The gym is a release to me. I think spending at least 3 weeks, 3 times a week, is a good release. But I prefer to play golf when the weather is better.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's amazing. Okay, so for the people who don't know you, do you prefer that I call you Mr. Maen or Maen?
No, Maen is fine.
Okay. So for the people who don't know you, Maen, tell us a little more about yourself.
So I'm from Kuwait. Grew up all my life in Kuwait until high school, where my father opted to give me that opportunity of experience, in the U.S. So I ended up going to high school in San Diego and spent a good 3 years of high school in San Diego. Being in California is never too bad, especially if you know the weather of San Diego and the beaches of San Diego. And then I started, exploring what am I going to do next in college. So my exploration led me to go into engineering. And I figured out that, engineering is a good way for problem solving. And I like to, solve problem. Although, what I did probably in my career was less related to engineering. But it also gave me the capabilities to find solutions and not fear, challenges. And I think that's a top side of engineering. So I did my universities in the U.S., continued in Arizona State. And then after that, interestingly, by luck, I had an opportunity to be passing a career fair. And this big sign that just says, we hire people from all over the world. I walked in there, and there was Schlumberger who were hiring, at that time. They wanted to hire people from the countries that they work in. And I applied, and I went through a very stringent process, and I still remember it very well because, their goal is to find people who are willing to learn and not people who have certain skill sets or technical skill sets, because the engineering part of the oil field services is a bit different, and it cannot be taught in university. So I went through the process, and then I was assigned to work in the U.S. I spent a couple of years in the U.S. as a field engineer. This is a field engineer where you actually go to the rigs and provide services, going from drilling to evaluation to well construction. And then a downturn happens, and usually the oil and gas industry, it's a very cyclical industry. So, when the oil price is high, everybody's drilling, and everybody is happy, and everybody is making money. When the oil price is down, nobody is making money, and nobody is happy, and then they want to reduce costs, so they move people or they get rid of people, unfortunately. So I was lucky not to be one of the ones who they got rid of. So coming from Kuwait, living in California, then continuing education in Arizona. So my temperature bandwidth was, minimum 10 degrees, Anything below 10 degrees, my brain cells freeze.
Oh, problematic. Yeah.
Very problematic. So I went there, and it was, unfortunately, in February in the North Sea. And with wind, you're talking about minus 30 degrees. So I'm supposed now to adapt to working into, a delta of 40 degrees from the north in the North Sea. I don't know if you're familiar with the North Sea. It's the furthest point in Europe, offshore, wind very cold, waves, you're talking about 10-meter waves. So it's not the most comfortable environment, but the challenges of it brings an experience that you take. And then, there was, I remember one time, the manager of the units there said, "Who wants to go to Africa?" I said, "I will go to Africa tomorrow."
Wow.
Yeah. And he said, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah." I said, this is the Congo, and you only knew the Congo from movies and gorillas. The Congo was never known to be a place that there is oil, and I never thought that there is oil in the Congo. So I said, I'll volunteer and I'll go
That's awesome.
to the Congo. I went there, and that time it was not the best time because there was a war between Republic of Congo and Zaire. So another learning experience is now you go to a country which is very beautiful. It has resources. It has, beside oil, diamonds, uranium, and the beaches. I remember, you could eat the sand because it was so clear and clean.
Wow.
And I said, it's amazing how you have all of this, but there is only 10 people living, and everybody is below poverty, and that gives you that reality check that we are very lucky, coming from
absolutely.
here, So there's a component of luck that comes into your life that you have to appreciate. And the journey continues. I don't know how far you want me to go because that's the first question, but the journey then evolved into me coming back to Kuwait, and then I took my first management role here in Kuwait, managing people for the first time, and that's a different role, And this was maybe 6 years into my career, and then I went into human resources after that, and then I moved into technical roles back to Kuwait, and then I took probably one of the first senior role as a vice president of technology, and this is where I got acquainted at that time with NVIDIA and with Justice Wang. I don't know if you know him. He's the CEO of NVIDIA. So Schlumberger was one of the first companies that actually used the GPU when he introduced it, because he was introducing the GPU for the gaming industry. And we wanted to take that to increase the capacity of data analysis that we do when it comes to reservoir modeling. And that was very enlightening because you get to listen to researchers and technologists, and everybody wants to push his or her idea through for company investment. And now I want to embark into a journey of my own. And I always wanted to, drive technology development from the region. And I thought this region, and the validity of it is that this region sits on almost 50% of the oil reserve, but all the technologies are imported. So there is no technology development from the region when it comes to oil and gas. So I had an idea, and I translated that idea with a group of friends who agreed on the concept and the need, and we brought that idea into a company that we called Afkar. Afkar means ideas, and Afkar is an energy tech venture where we managed to basically accelerate technology development, and in some cases acquire technologies from outside of the Middle East region, and we brought them to become Middle East centric. Alhamdulillah, this company has been running successfully for 4 years now, and it's managing itself into the growth of technology you know, I would say implementation for the oil and gas sector. But halfway through that journey, I got a call of duty, you know, a national call of duty, I call it, and I was told, can you come and help fix Kuwait Airways? And this was the first time I get involved into a government, role, which is absolutely different than coming in from a corporate structure into a private, owned structure, into the government, And it was very enlightening and satisfying for me. I think we've accomplished what we wanted and more during that journey. And it came to an end, like anything else, without going to the details of the reasons. But I didn't see that, I could continue contributing under certain circumstances, because I like to see no limit to achieving the goals. And some people, they're okay to be C-rated and get a degree. I am absolutely very competitive, and I didn't see that the environment around will allow us to be that competitive. Although there is massive history in the company, there is massive jewels, I would say, in its people.
Absolutely.
And experience in the company. But the structure that came governing this the past year has not been, driving it to the right direction. And then I decided, okay, now I've done so many things in life. What am I going to do to give myself a break, and engage into more strategic and structured, business engagement. So I decided to structure my family office, and all the businesses that we have direct shareholding in, I'm engaged in them into a non-executive role, but very strategic role, So that goes from, interestingly, retail to oil and gas, to energy, to logistics, and last but not least, to F&B, And I'm enjoying being a partner into a new venture, which is in the food industry, where we launched a new concept of Italian trattoria called the Gusto in Kuwait. Alhamdulillah, it's doing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
well.
Then Kuwait is also a place where a lot of F&B companies and businesses thrive.
There is a lot of them. I think Kuwait has a lot of talent when it comes to F&B, and in some cases should be promoted as the capital of food.
Yes,
Because of the diversity, the quality, and interestingly, a lot of people come from regional countries, and they say, they come to Kuwait because the quality of food is top notch.
Yeah. Do you think that the F&B scene in Kuwait, we're on the topic, is a regional leader when it comes to F&B?
Yeah,
and
Kuwait is regional leader, and what demonstrate this is when you walk in the cities the like of London, and you will see Kuwaiti outlets coming there, and there has been a lot of entrepreneurs in that coming through. But also, it's not only F&B. I think it's also in the retail. So you see a lot of also, in the perfumery side of things. So you see a lot of Kuwaitis startups or family offices or family businesses have been successful there. In the clothing, So I think Kuwait has a lot of talent, and that's demonstrated with where they are positioned. What's missing is that what are we providing from technology perspective? Because we have a lot of, high-end quality, technical resources also in Kuwait. The question is, where is this into that growth journey? I think that's probably something is missing, but it should be a focus area.
Yeah. Man, so to be honest, you you have a very diverse background when it comes to work. You've worked in many countries and multiple industries. So my question is, if I were to go back to your college years in Arizona, did you expect that you will be where you are today? Did you expect it to be so diverse?
I think I was lucky in some sense to have had the chance to study high school in the U.S. because high school in the U.S. you become a part of America because there's not Kuwaitis. I was the only Kuwaiti in this high school in San Diego. There is no other Kuwaitis because Kuwaitis don't study high school in the U.S. Or a few of them, and less also Arabs there. So that's a component. So I started understanding the American, what they call it, the American dream. Everybody can make it in America, and you don't have to come from a certain family or a rich background or from a certain ethnicity. So the American dream was very well understood at an early stage. Now you take this with the support, and I'm blessed to have, the best parents in the world without, discounting anybody else's parents who are still supporting me and because we are so close, they are just next door. So my father and my mother house is just next door, So we are, very close, and I still seek advice, and they seek advice and guidance also and support from me. And that's very important, And it doesn't have to be parents, by the way. It could be, an uncle, a friend. And after that, obviously, that journey, the support continued, alhamdulillah, even with my, own family, and my wife is an amazing support to being able to live through that journey, in my career. So I think having luck is important, or has to be identified, and the support is a key enabler to where you can be today.
Okay, now so we're going to move on to the Kuwait Airways. You've worked there, and we have done some research on our end, and we saw some accomplishments.
Yes.
There has been a significant increase in revenue, a decrease in losses of the company, as well as an increase in the number of total passengers. Tell us what's your secret.
No, there is no secret. First of all, you have to understand that the market dynamics was on a growth mode. So I was also lucky to come in, and this was just post-COVID. So in COVID, the industry that got hurt the most is probably the aviation industry, because there was planes that were never flying. So now I came in just a year after COVID into an industry that is absolutely just hungry for travel. I remember, so many passengers that were traveling, in the summer, usually, a lot of families would choose the location to travel and spend, let's say, 2 weeks or a month there. The summer after COVID, there were so many families that just wanted to travel 3-4 times, So that's an opportunity. So you realize that there is an opportunity. An opportunity is post-pandemic, And they always say, the smartest people are the ones who actually capitalize on crisis. If you would have bought NVIDIA stock at that time at $40, compare where it is today, over $1,000, you would be a millionaire,
Yes,
So,
yeah.
you should have done it, but not a lot of, I did, but I sold too early. So the opportunity of growth was there. So when you look at it, then you start mapping, what do I want to capture from that growth? Because you also have to realize you have limitations. Number of planes are limited. You cannot just go and buy new planes because everybody was buying planes.
Yes.
So, and the delivery dates was extended. We were in a very stringent negotiation with airplane manufacturers to try to get them to give us planes within 8 years. You order a plane today and you receive it after 8 years because all the manufacturing has, the capacity was reduced during COVID, and now all of a sudden there is massive demand. But also, you have to know that in manufacturing, there are companies that were shut down, and each plane, if you look at the average plane, a wide body plane, if you look at how many components in it, you're talking about almost 1 million components. Mm-hmm. That's from as small as a screw to as big as the engine. Mm-hmm. So there is 1 million parts in that plane. Mm-hmm. And then when you look at it, there is probably 1,000. There's 1,000 manufacturers who were making these parts. Big companies can survive, pandemics. They last. They can live 3-4 years of crisis. Yes, it will hurt them, but they can survive it. But the small manufacturers who are supporting them are no longer in business. So what do? So you have to rejuvenate the supply chain of it, So supply chain was a big challenge. The opportunity was there. So now you have to choose your battles. And I always say, when you want to enter a war, and this is not a war at that time, and there is 20 battles, I think the leader who will probably most likely lose the war, the one who wants to win the 20 battles. But if you want to choose 3 or 4 or 5 battles that are very targeted battles, you can win the war after 4 or 5 battles. So I was blessed also to have the support of the board of directors at that time, and the chairman of the board, who believed that this is an opportunity. We're going to give you that opportunity to tailor it into actions with freedom to build the team. And we built the team. The teams, a lot of them were, as I said, from Kuwait Airways. You just had to identify, who are going to be the enablers of delivering the mission. And we just wanted to grow to the capacity of our capabilities as much as improve on our service quality and service experience. And also later on, position Kuwait Airways to be a hub to the limited capacity that we have, knowing that there is going to be a new terminal that will also give us that opportunity to grow. So when you have all of this together, then it's no-brainer that you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And alhamdulillah, we were very successful to improve the airline, and we won the most improved airline year over year. That was a huge accomplishment, because you have to remember, you're competing with 300 other airlines. Yes, worldwide. We improved the ranking. I remember when I first took the job, Kuwait Airways was ranked 179. And alhamdulillah, in 2 years, we brought it down to 42, and we were in the right directions to go to top 20. We wanted to be in the top 20, because we wanted to, customers to book Kuwait Airways. Like today, customers, when they want to book a flight, they think about like 3 or 4 airlines by default. So we wanted Kuwait Airways to be a part of that thinking process. And you can only do it when you improve customer experience. So we spend a lot of time and money into improving customer experience, customer engagement. And, in our strategy, that transformation strategy that we named Beyond Excellence, because that goes to being competitive. I don't want to be excellent, I want to be beyond excellent. So when you drive the mindset beyond excellence, then there is no limit to being beyond excellence. It's infinity. And we put the customer at the heart of it. So when the customer is at the heart of everything we do, and say and invest in, then it becomes a lot more visible to them, you know. And we engage customers, which is very important. The worst thing you do when you're in the service industry is you decide what the customer wants to eat. And you decide what's the menu. So this, you know, it was a game changer for us to bring customers. So we mapped who are the top 100 customers. We brought them over 2 sessions, I remember, to do the food tasting and rank and tell us, listen, this is the food we would like to eat on the airplane, and this is the food we don't want to eat on the airplane. So things like this. And then we took the same experience into also, you know, what they see on the screens, you know. So, and we introduced also an enhanced loyalty program by introducing, you know, the mileage and additional mileage for a reward system. So, you know, we made the customer a part of our journey. And when you do this, then it becomes a lot easier for you to fulfill and achieve your goals, you know. But I was very lucky also to have the right team and the right support from, you know, management at that time.
And we also noticed one other thing, you know, a pattern in your career journey. You are currently involved and part of several companies. To name a few, there's the Roundtable, you have Wassel, you have Digasto. So we wanted to know, how are you so omnipresent? Or, you know, if there is a skill that you have.
No, the skill is taking risk. So, you know, if you are into entrepreneurship and you don't want to take risk, you might as well just become and stay as a government employee. You know, that's what I say. So if you look at the rate of success of startups, it depends on what part of the world, because, you know, in the US and Europe, it's a lot more mature than it is. But for example, in the Middle East, the rate of success of startups, it's usually 1.5. So 1.5 out of 10 startup make it. And make it, you know, when you say make it, they make it beyond 5 years. So the reference of you making it is usually 5 years and breaking even, you know. So not, you know, in the European, or I would say technological culture, it's okay for investors to wait 10 years before returns.
Yes.
You know, and in this part of the world, they want to buy an apartment, they want to rent it the next month, and they want to collect the rent at the end of the month. You know, so that's so you try to bring them into you know, think about growth and don't think about dividend. It becomes a lot more difficult. But alhamdulillah, I think the VC arena has changed, and a big part of that change is coming from family offices. So a lot of family offices are becoming, you know, investors into startups, and public funds, you know, and you know, and you see a lot of companies, also government companies, creating their own, I would say, VC specific for certain cultures. So, I you know, the diversity comes with risk appetite, but also, you know, assessing the potential. You know, if there is no potential, then there is no appetite to invest. You know,
Absolutely. Yes.
So you know, you should see some of these guys when they come and they do the pitch. To me, as much as it becomes reality to them that it's not easy for you to get money from me, but the reality is that they realize that there is high expectation once you get that money. Alhamdulillah, you know, all the investments we have are on the right track. You know, some of them are a bit, you know, delayed, not as well. But one thing I do, and you know, I usually gather them on an annual basis, and I let them understand what each other is doing, beside the fact that they are on two different businesses, you know. So you have to have the appetite to risk. You have to have the engagement, the constructive engagement, and not the management engagement. Because if you invest into a company that you're going to manage, you might as well just not invest, because you should believe in the founders of that company. What is their mission? What is their ambition? What is their goal? And how are you going to be able to support them from a strategic perspective, less than it is, day-to-day business. So all of these businesses, I usually have one call a week. I learned that the most efficient calls or meetings is usually 45 minutes or less. Anything above 45 minutes. That's why if you go back to university days, most of the classes, you never had a class that is 1 hour. And if you go get a massage, the most efficient massage is the one that's 50 minutes, not 60 minutes, because you say, why 50 minutes? Why it's not 60 minutes, And so you take that into reality, and when the time runs, some of them, they say, can we extend, for another 10, 15 minutes? They say no, because we agreed we're going to cover it in 45 minutes. But we can have a separate call, or we can wait until next week.
Yeah. So there's also like efficiency in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man, this is the end of our podcast. Do you have anything final you want to share with the audience?
No, I think I enjoyed this conversation. It's very lazy, as I said. I'm still wearing khatra. I should have. I should have came without it, but maybe because I have a formal engagement right after this. But the fact of the matter, it's enjoyable. I hope it's rewarding, and if there is a piece of advice that I give to people, is that stay positively engaged. Look at the cup half full, not half empty.
Absolutely.
And once you have that visibility and belief, then the sky is the limit.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, man, for being here with us. And we want to thank the audience for tuning in.
Thank you very much.